Velkommen til Live med venner.
Ja, og ikke minst takk for sist til deg som så på eller var til stede på Moster i helgen på den store feiringen av 1000 år med kristne lover.
Jeg håper at du har det bra der du er, og at du er med oss den neste timen, for dette gleder vi oss til.
Ja, det blir en litt annerledes sending i kveld. Det er veldig mye som skjer i verden som vi kunne snakket om, men vi har ryddet plass til en helt spesiell gjest.
Ja, for i kveld så kommer nemlig den finske politikeren Päivi Räsänen her. Og vi skal få snakke med henne om hvordan de siste årene og det hun står i nå, hvordan det her er for henne.
Ja, som mange vet så ble hun ført for domstolene i Finland på grunn av sitt kristne syn på familie, ekteskap og seksualitet. Og hun har blitt frikjent i 2 rettsinstanser, men nå skal hun til Høyesterett igjen.
Ja. Men før vi begynner den samtalen, så vil vi bare minne om kanskje noe av det som blir vårt lille høydepunkt kanskje i denne sesongen. Vi har jo så mange, så det er ikke godt å vite hvor høyt det blir. Men vi gleder oss grådig til sommerkveldene.
Ja, for vi er jo her hver uke i studio, og det synes vi er utrolig kjekt. Men så hadde vi lyst til å gjøre noe der du som er i området også kan være med, og vi kan møtes. Se her. Vi står her i kaféen i Credo-kirken i Bergen. Nå er den tom, men den skal fylles opp 13. til 15. juni når vi inviterer til sommerkvelder med venner. Og du er invitert.
Og da skal det være åpen kafé og direkte sending fra klokken 19:33 kvelder på rad.
Det blir gjester, forkynnelse, musikk og godt fellesskap.
Vi gleder oss til å treffe deg og håper at du vil være med en eller flere av disse kveldene.
13. til 15. juni i Credo-kirken i Bergen, sommerkvelder med venner.
Vi ses.
Ja, velkommen tilbake til del 2 av programmet vårt. Jeg sitter her sammen med en venn og en helt, Päivi Räsänen. Päivi, welcome to Bergen.
Thank you so much.
You are about to face your 3rd tour in court.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. Yes, I trust that this is in God's hands. So I feel calm, waiting for the 3rd trial. So I'm just... in fact, now with my lawyer writing an answer to Supreme Court, a letter about these accusations that the prosecutor has stated, but perhaps it will take 1 year. I don't know what is, how it continues.
We're going to talk about the case, but we need to get to know you a little bit more now that you are here. Tell us about your childhood and your early years.
Yes, thank you. I'm born to a family. We had 3 children. I'm the oldest one. And my father was working in a prison. So I have lived during my childhood just the closest building beside the prison. And I was very fond of the school. I was good in school and loved, for example, mathematics and that kind of subjects. And yes, I was quite young as a child. I remember I was in, perhaps not yet at school. I went to the Sunday school, and I think that it was very important time for me. There in prison, there was one Pentecostal man who was taking care of pigs with prisoners, and then another man from Lutheran revival movement, and they were teaching children every Sunday in Sunday school, and I think it was very important time for me, for my spiritual life. to the future.
How did you decide to follow Jesus?
In fact, I think that I was about 4 or 5 years old when I was in Sunday school, and I remember that I understood very well these deep concepts of Christianity. I understood that I'm sinner. Many times I thought when I was a child that I could someday be in prison, that every evil that is in these men is also inside me. I understood it. And then I remember that there in Sunday school I prayed with those teachers that Jesus would forgive my sins and take me his own. And I believe that he heard the prayer of the little girl, and he has been faithful during these decades. So of course I have had some difficult times in youth and so on, but I have believed in Jesus. He has been my Lord since my very early childhood. And they were very impressive moments at Sunday school. At that time, there were also revival in the prison. There were many preachers who came to the prison, and the prisoners came to Christ, and also children came to Christ. So I'm happy that I could live in that kind of environment, the prison environment. And for example, I remember, or my mother has told that some day when I came back from the Sunday school, there came a prison director to me, and I stopped him. He was riding bicycle, and I stopped him and I asked him that, "Do you love Jesus?" I was 5 years old, and he was a little bit embarrassed, and he phoned to my mother and said that should you take the girl away from the Sunday school, that she will not lose her mind. But my mother was not afraid. She let me continue the Sunday school.
You went into medicine school. Why did you decide to be a doctor?
Yes, in fact, at the same time, I was very good at school. I had very good results from exams, and I entered at the same time after school to study physics, and as an engineer, and to medical school. It was possible at that time to have 3 different places, and it was quite difficult for me to choose because I loved mathematics. But then I thought that I would like to help people, because as a doctor you can be in straight contact with people, and then I chose medicine. It took about half a year to make that choice.
Tell us about your husband, Niilo, and your family.
Yes, I'm so happy that I have a so good and so lovely husband as Niilo. He is a pastor. He's a Lutheran pastor, and he is also a principal of Bible college, training, for example, missionaries. And we got to know each other in London because he was leading a missionary group which was working, a part-time missionary group of young people that were working among Asian immigrants. And I joined that group, and we got to know there in London. And in fact, we then also the next summer we went to the same mission, and after that we started dating each other and then got married. And we have 5 children, 1 son and 4 daughters, who are all grown up, and they have their families and children. And now we have 12 grandchildren.
Wow. What got you interested in politics?
As a medical student, I had to think a lot about those ethical issues of medicine. For example, especially the issue and question of abortion. And as a Christian medical student, I had to think a lot of it, because I understood at that time that it is impossible for me to end the life of an unborn baby. And when then I started to work as a medical doctor, I participated a lot a public discussion about these ethical issues. For example, the issue of euthanasia and abortion. I was also in media. I was in some TV debates and radio debates as a Christian doctor, young doctor who opposes abortion, and I also wrote some books, and I was in panel discussions, organizing also panel discussions and so on. So I was a pro-life doctor at that time. And then I didn't think about politics, but then when we had in the beginning of 90s, we had a difficult economical depression time, and I could see a lot of problems in society also as a working doctor, unemployment and that kind of problems. I started to think that I would like to to try to make some impact to the roots of the problems, not just give some medicine and heal the symptoms of the problems in society that society is doing for these people. And then there were people who asked me to come to candidate, to stand for elections, and I refused many times. But in fact, it was my husband who very much encouraged me, and it was at first his idea. That I remember that when we were in car and we drove beside the parliamentary house, he said that look at your future working place. So
did you believe him?
No, I didn't, but he prophesied that you will be there one day, I'm sure. And yes, now I have been there 29 years. So, but it has been very, very important that I have had so steadfast and full support from my husband, and he thinks that he bears responsibility for that, because it was originally his idea.
Good. Tell us about the things that you have done in politics, from becoming a member of parliament and other important roles that you've had.
Yes, because I have been already almost 30 years in parliament. I have been a member of many committees. Just now I'm a member of Social and Health Affairs Committee. And I was also for 11 years, I was the chair of the Finnish Christian Democrat Party. And then I was 2011 to 2015, I was the Minister of Interior, and at that time also in charge of church affairs and customs. And And I have been also during these years, I have been in many, I would say, quite rigorous and public debates about many ethical issues, especially pro-life issues.
Tell me about church and what role it plays in your life.
Yes, I'm a member of the Finnish Lutheran Church, which is the majority church in Finland, but I would say that just now it is in huge crisis because it is so heavily divided. And inside the church we have some kind of Christian biblical organizations, for example, Finnish Lutheran Mission, where my husband is working, and which are on biblical basis. And
Very similar to Misjonssambandet in Norway.
I suppose that it is similar, yes. And I have been active in church life during my life in many duties. I want to say that perhaps the most important duty has been when I was a student, when I was studying medicine. I led for 5 years a mission that was evangelizing other students. We went every Thursday evening from door to door in the campus area, asking that would you like to discuss about Jesus? Would you like to hear what he means to me? And so on. And it was very important to me. And at that time we had tens of students who went there. The best nights were 60 students that went there. And I think that I learned a lot at that time to debate and to argue, and I had to think very thoroughly, for example, these biblical doctrines, because there were students from different faculties who questioned and who wanted to debate about many issues. So I had to think that how does my Bible stand, and how can I answer these questions? So I think that it was important school for my future in Parliament.
Again, you're facing trial for the third time on 3 different counts. We're going to go through the different things you've been charged for. In 2004, you wrote a pamphlet called Male and Female, He Created Them. What's the story behind the pamphlet?
The Lutheran Foundation and pastor at that time, Pastor Juhana Pohjola, asked me to write a church booklet for them, to use it in their churches as a material to help about these topical issues of that day, when we just had legislation about a partnership of homosexual relationships. And so I wrote it very quickly, 2 evenings. And if I had known how important it becomes, I had put more time to write it. But yes, but I did it in hurry, and yes, I wrote it and then I forgot it.
In 2019, 2 things happened. One is that you were viewed in a program by Yle entitled "What Did Jesus Think About Homosexuals?" And tell us about that interview that you were in.
Yes, it was done, in fact, at that time. because the Christmas was coming, and in fact I had just then my birthday, 60th birthday celebration, and they asked me to come to discuss about. At the beginning, the topic was what did Jesus think, and then when I went there, they said that they speak about homosexuality. but yes, and it was in fact it was after the first police interrogation. It was December 2019.
I see. And then in 2019, you also criticized the Lutheran Church.
Yes.
In a tweet, you put a picture of Romans 1, 24 and 27 that describes sex between two people of the same gender as shameful lust and unnatural relations. Why did you post it?
Yes, this was the start of this legal process. And I had just got to know that the Evangelical Lutheran Church of Finland, its leadership had decided to support publicly and also financially the Helsinki Pride event. And it was a shock to me and to many, many Christians. And at that time, many Christians decided to leave the church because of that. And I was also very sad and worried. I was worried that by this statement, the church leadership is leading astray people. They are leading astray, especially young people, because when they start to read Bible, they find these passages, and then it is not only about gender or marriage or homosexuality. It is also about trust on the Bible. If you lose trust on the Bible, then you are in danger, or also for your salvation. It is also about salvation and the way to heaven. That you can trust that the Bible is the word of God. And what is said in the Bible, it is the truth, because it is what God says. And that's why I was also praying. In fact, I was on knees praying, and I prayed that what should I do now? Should I leave the church, or what should I do? And I got a very clear vision that now it is not my time, not yet, to leave the church. But because it is like a ship that is sinking, and the people are in danger inside it to die if the boat sinks. And I thought that they are sleeping. I must wake up them. I must speak with such a big loud voice that they could wake up. And then I took the Bible, took a photo from that, and wrote a Twitter update and made a question to the leadership, to the bishops of my church, that how does this fit what you have stated? How does this fit to the foundation of the church, the Bible, that you are celebrating something that Bible calls sin and shame, you are celebrating as a matter of pride. So this was the starting point.
Vi skal ta en liten pause til deg der hjemme, og så får du en kort, men viktig reklame, og så er vi straks tilbake med fortsettelsen av PV-intervjuet.
Takk for at du ser på programmet vårt. Og hvis du liker det vi gjør, så vil vi invitere deg til å være med og støtte oss. For vi kan bare gjøre dette så lenge seerne holder oss på luften. Så send gjerne din gave på Vipps 76 38 05, så er du med på og hjelper oss til å gjøre disse programmene, men også å skape nye. Så takk for din støtte på Vipps 76 38 05. Gud velsigne deg.
Vi er tilbake i studio her med Päivi Räsänen. Hun har fortalt om foranledningen til at hun ble ført for domstolene med denne twittringen i 2019. Päivi, how did this become a matter for the courts?
Yes, there became some criminal complaint from citizen about the Twitter update, and the police started to investigate the case. And then it came into public, the newspapers started to write about it. At that time, I didn't get any information from the police. I read it from the newspaper that now the police is investigating that. At first, I didn't even believe it. I thought that now it couldn't be true. But then I phoned to the police that, is it true that you are investigating the case? And yes, he confirmed that yes, we are. And then after that, when it came into public, then there started to become more and more criminal complaints. Someone had found this old church pamphlet, and that I didn't anymore even myself remember. And then also came some more. But then the prosecutor was very active at that case, because when the police investigated the pamphlet and the radio interview, the police said that they didn't find any crime in these writings. But the prosecutor ordered the police to continue the investigations. So I was in police interrogations. I was altogether 13 hours sitting in a police station.
With your Bible?
Yes, it was really absurd and unreal, because we were in a very small room with a policeman, and I had a Bible on the table, and the police was asking me about the Bible, and the Twitter interrogation, it lasted 6 hours. I couldn't believe it beforehand that it takes so long time. And he asked me about the book of Romans, that what is the message of the first chapter and what is the message of the whole book of Romans. And I said, do you really want to hear? Because it is a very important book for me and in my life. And he said, yes, go on. and then I could tell him from other passages of the book, the whole gospel of the book of Romans, because really the third chapter has been in my life so important, because I think that I have found really the meaning of cross, what Jesus has done for me. What is the solution to the problem of sin? I have found just from the book of Romans. So I was happy. I could tell the good news also to the policeman, and he invited me after that 2 times again, and so we could go also through other passages, other books, started from the Genesis and so on.
So your training from being a student missionary in the campus came in handy.
Yes, and in fact there was in our social media there was a joke that Päivi Räsänen is once again going to have a Bible study on the police station. But it was absurd, because just some years ago I was a Minister of Interior in charge of police, and then I was sitting there. But seriously, it was at the same time, it was quite surreal, because I thought that I could never have believed that something like that happens in Finland. That I have heard this kind of interrogations from Belarus or North Korea or former Soviet Union, but it happens in Finland, so it was surreal.
This has been going on for many years now.
Yeah.
What has this time been like for you and your family?
Of course, this has taken a lot of time. We have had trials, first in Helsinki District Court and then the Court of Appeals, that have taken altogether 4 days. And I have quite busy time also in Parliament with my parliamentary duties, but this has been this has also taken a lot of time. And of course there have also been some dark moments during this process. But I have to say that I have felt that this has been a privilege to me. I have felt that this has been my calling. It has been at the same time an honor to defend freedom of speech, freedom of faith, and also publicly bear witness of these biblical issues, biblical truths. And what has given joy for me and also my husband, who has all the time he has been supporting me and encouraging me and beside me. Even in trials he has been sitting there with me. And that this has given so many chances, so many opportunities to tell also the message of gospel in front of police, in court, in press, in these media occasions, in live broadcasts to straight to Finnish homes. So it has been also a great joy.
This has gained international attention.
Yeah.
What has that been like for you?
It has been a great support. I could never have imagined it, that something so big attention comes to that case. But I understand that because this is also a very historic case in Finland. We have never had this kind of legal process before in Finland. And because we have the law of agitation against minorities, we do not have hate speech laws, but I'm accused on the grounds of this law. And now I know we can see that the LGBT advocates are using this law against Christians. And I understand that also in, for example, in other European countries who have quite similar legislations, they have seen and they have found the Christians in other countries that if something like that can happen in Finland, which has long roots in Christianity and that have a good reputation of rule of law and freedom of speech, it can happen in any country. And we have that kind of development in many European countries and also in other post-Christian countries. So perhaps that is the reason that it gives attention to the case. And I have felt that this is not only question about me or my case or my opinions. It is about the Bible. In fact, in Finland, our mainstream media, the Finnish public broadcasting company, it named this trial as Bible trial. They see that it is the Bible that is on trial. So I think that is the reason that gains so much attention abroad.
Are you glad that this is now going to be in front of the highest court in the land?
Of course, I was very happy for the acquittals of the district court and the appellate court, and it would have been enough for me, for my acquittal. But I prayed that the guidance of God would happen in this what is coming, and I trust that when this goes to Supreme Court, it gives a possibility to very strong precedent for possible future similar cases in Finland and also in other, for example, European countries. So, of course, I pray and I hope that I would get acquittal. If I would lose the case, it would have very, very strong and dangerous consequences also, because it would restrict so strongly the freedom of the Bible, freedom of Christians. So I think that it would start a time of persecution if I would lose the case.
I've been privileged to know you for a few years and followed this case. From the beginning, you've talked about this as a calling on your life. It's not something you asked for, but is that how you feel still?
Yes, I feel that this has been my calling. I could never have imagined this kind of calling, but yes, and I have seen. I'm so happy and thankful to God that I have seen how much God can give through these kind of ordeals. You get much more than you lose when God brings you through these kind of ordeals.
What have your conversations with the Lord been like these last years?
I'm sincere that they have been mostly about this case. They have been that I have thanked Him because I can tell that I have got so much encouragement. There have been thousands and thousands of people who tell that they are praying for me and my family, and they are praying for Finland. It is amazing to have that kind of huge amounts of people praying for you, and I have felt fellowship and unity with Christians from different denominations, from different churches, across the borders, national borders. So I have felt more than ever that we are a big family of Jesus, and it has been also amazing. And then I have also seen how God works through this. For example, I got a phone call from 26 years old man who told that he was listening to my radio interview about this case, and he said that he didn't know almost anything about Christianity. But when I said there that if you do not yet know Jesus, you can pray and ask Him to your life. And he said that after that interview, he prayed, and Jesus came to his life. And now he has been 2 years as a follower of Christ. He is in church life. So I have got this kind of testimonies which have encouraged me a lot. So I know that there is a meaning for this process. And when I read Bible before this case, I could see many that kind of promises what Jesus said about people who go before the courts and so on. They were so distant that could this happen at this time. But there are also promises connected with this, that Jesus, for example, in Luke, the Gospel of Luke says that you get opportunities to be a witness in front of them, and he gives the words and wisdom. And I have found how true these promises are. So Jesus is really faithful, and it has been so wonderful to see more and more promises from the Bible, that you can see that how God really works and how he is faithful with these promises. You can see how they are fulfilled when you are in these situations.
What is your message to other people, maybe young people, who are feeling the pressure to withhold their opinions, their views on the Bible when it comes to gender, sexuality, marriage?
Yes, I feel a lot of empathy to these young people, because I know how difficult it might be, especially when you are young. I'm already so old that I think that it is easier for me, but I feel empathy. But I want to encourage that we are living in that kind of time when it is time to be open about your faith. Because the more you are silent, the narrower becomes the space for these freedoms. So it doesn't help to stay in the corner. So I want to encourage to be open about what Bible, the Word of God teaches about also these painful issues of today, with truth and love, because it is, of course, it is important, and I have had possibility to say it many times and tell it that all people are created as image of God. We all are equal in front of him. All people are valuable, but we all are sinners. And Jesus has died on the cross for our sins. And that's why he wants to save everyone. And this is the same message for gay people, for all people. And this is the message of the Bible. It is about truth and love. And these both are those messages that we have to bring to this world. The world needs it to hear the testimony and the witness of Christ.
What has been your greatest lesson in all of this?
God is faithful, and He's good. He's love, and He is so good. I have felt so. I'm so thankful for Him during this process, and also I'm so thankful for my fellow Christians who have been supporting and praying during this time. But it is like Queen Esther in the Old Testament. She was encouraged that such a time as this, it was her time, but we have just this time and the challenges of this time. But now it is our time to bring and to bear the witness and bring the testimony about Jesus and his word to this generation.
Päivi, thank you.
Thank you.
So much for coming. You are a enormous inspiration to us in Norway, and you know you have a lot of support in this country and a lot of people praying for you and your family as you go through this last and final stage and what will be a glorious acquittal and a good day for the Word of God and for the freedoms of religion in Scandinavia and in the Nordic countries. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. God bless you.
Da får du der hjemme en andakt fra Tone. Se her.
I 1. Peters brev, kapittel 2, vers 4-8, så leser vi: «Kom til han, den levende stein, som ble vraket av mennesker, men er utvalgt og dyrebar for Gud. Og bli også selv oppbygd som levende steiner til et åndelig hus, til et hellig presteskap, til å bære fram åndelige offer, slik som er Gud til behag ved Jesus Kristus. For det heter i Skriften: Se, jeg legger i Sion en hjørnestein, utvalgt og dyrebar. Den som tror på han skal ikke bli til skamme. Æren tilhører altså dere som tror. Men for de vantro er den stein som bygningsmennene forkastet blitt til hjørnestein og snublestein og anstøtsklippe. Det er disse som snubler ved sin vantro mot ordet. Til det er de også satt. Dette er alvorlige ord, vel verd å grunne på. Her må Guds ånd veilede og gi innsyn, for mange er det som forhaster seg og trekker raske slutninger på hva som er hva, og hvem som er hvem. Gud er hellig, og kan ikke blande seg med det som ikke er hellig. Men forstår vi egentlig hva hellig er? I dag hvor vi definerer våre egne liv uavhengig og fritt etter egne følelser og behov, plutselig kan vi ha byttet ut hva Gud sier er hellig med det kultur og tidsånden definerer, og så plasserer vi tanker og følelser på hyllen der de bibelske definisjonene av hellighet skal stå. Og da passer ikke hellig presteskap inn. Heller ikke slik som er Gud til behag ved Jesus Kristus. For hvem er Jesus? For de som har tatt imot ordet til frelse, er han en levende byggestein som innlemmer oss i sitt liv og gjør oss til levende byggesteiner for sitt åndelige hus, der Guds ånd skal bo. Men for de som er vantro mot ordet, blir han en snublestein og anstøtsklippe. Vantro mot ordet, og ikke ta imot Jesus Kristus som frelser, tro på Jesus som er ordet kommet i skjød. I Romerne 9:32 så står det at Israel ikke søkte rettferdigheten ved tro, men ved gjerninger. De støtte mot snublesteinen. Ingen kan komme til Faderen uten ved meg, sa Jesus. Og det funker ikke ved eget strev, ikke ved gode handlinger, ikke ved å pine seg selv, ikke ved andre trosretninger. Kun ved å ta imot Guds sønn, som har gjenfødt oss til et levende håp ved Jesus Kristi oppstandelse fra de døde, til en arv som er uforgjengelig, uvisnelig, og som er gjemt for dere i himmelen, dere som ved Guds makt blir holdt oppe ved tro, til den frelse som er ferdig til å bli åpenbart i den siste tid. Dette finner vi i 1. Peters brev. Jesus er én. Han kan ikke være i flere utgaver. Jesus, som den levende byggestein, bygger ett bygg, ikke flere ulike. I bygget er det mange rom, og helt sikkert ulike rom, men det er likevel kun ett bygg. Og dette bygget blir ikke bygget utenom ordet. Guds ord er målesnoren, fundamentet og reisverket. Dersom Herren ikke bygger huset, bygger arbeiderne forgjeves, står det jo i Salme 127. Gud bygger ikke oss utenom sin sønn, men i han, i Kristus. Vi leser i Jesaja 45. Kom i hu de ting som hendte fra eldgammel tid, at jeg er Gud og ingen annen. Jeg er Gud, og det er ingen som jeg. Jeg som fra begynnelsen forkynner enden, og fra fordums tid det som ikke har skjedd. Det er jeg som sier, mitt råd skal bli fullbyrdet, og alt det jeg vil, det gjør jeg. må hver av oss stille oss til disposisjon for det Gud bygger i dag. Frembringe åndelig offer. Våre legemer som et levende og hellig offer til Guds behag. Dette er vår åndelige gudstjeneste. Og ta imot sinnets fornyelse, så vi ikke skikker oss slik denne verden, men heller kan dømme om hva som er Guds vilje, det gode, det som han har behag i, det fullkomne. Bli levende Guds steiner. Gud med deg.
Tusen takk for andakten, Tone. Vi må bestemme oss for at vi vil være en del av Guds byggverk.
Og da blir vi bra levende også, samtidig. Ja.
Det er sant.
Og herlighet, hva vi har fått vært med på i kveld. For en dame, Päivi Räisänen, og for et forbilde. Det er snakk om å bygge. Det er en som står, uansett hvordan det stormer, og står fast på overbevisningen sin. Det er veldig inspirerende, den samtalen dere hadde.
Ja, og måten hun gjør det på, med en sånn ro og en sånn verdighet, helt enestående. En av mine store helter.
Ja. Du, på torsdag så er det samtale igjen, og da er det jeg som skal lede den. Temaet er fra islam til Jesus, og jeg er så heldig å få lov til å få med et par som faktisk har tatt den veien fra islam og til troen på Jesus. Og det er en veldig spennende fortelling jeg tror de vil dele med oss. Og så kommer det en til i studio, en god gjest, som vet veldig mye om hvordan det er å leve som en konvertitt, en som har tatt et upopulært valg gjerne i sitt land, og må nødt til å flykte, eller blir forfulgt i landet sitt, fordi en tror rett og slett enkelt på Jesus Kristus. Den samtalen kan jeg tenke meg vil bli litt dyptpløyende, og kanskje tankevekkende også, håper jeg, for vi har veldig mange rundt oss i Norge som har valgt Jesus av de som før levde i islam sin religion. Og da har vi noen å vi støtte og be for også. Så vær med på torsdag klokken 10.
Det er helt sant. Vi fortsetter også vår serie Arven på mandag. Mange som har fått den med seg en gang. Vi fortsetter nå med neste episode. Håper du vil få den med deg. Og så er det altså sommerkvelder med venner. Vi begynner torsdag 13. juni. Da har vi med oss Irene Krokeide Alnes. Hun har reist et langt liv i vekkelse som en del av duoen Marit og Irene. Mange vil huske den samtalen vi hadde her om vekkelse som hun var med på. Steinar Harila, han har på mange måter gjort det samme. Reist et langt liv i vekkelse, mye i Russland, men også i Norge. Han har en fantastisk historie, og så har han vært en sånn varm støttespiller for oss i dette arbeidet. Vi er så takknemlige for han. Asbjørn Simones kommer, han er kjent fra Oasebevegelsen. Kjell Martin Myhr, han jobber nå som pastor i Vineyard i Oslo. Han er som kjent gift med vår venn Linn Myhr. Og så kommer Torbjørn Norgård, som er sjefredaktør i Verdinytt. Silje og Vidar Pettersen synger for oss første kvelden på torsdag. Fredag så er det Dag Øyvind og sønn Philip Juliussen. Mange kjenner Dag Øyvind, leder for Internasjonale Kristne Ambassade. Han har med seg sønnen sin, som er en spennende type. Vi får også høre fra Jarle Mong, som har en bok på gang om det å være mer mann. Et budskap rett inn i den tiden vi lever i. Så kommer Geir Stomnås fra Philadelphia Vennesla, mannen bak det store arrangementet Reis deg Guds menighet der i Vennesla. Øyvind Rygg, sjefen for Kanal 10, kommer. Olav og Tanja Rønhovde kommer for å fortelle om spennende ting de har på gang til høsten. Synnøve Aanensen skal synge for oss fredag 14. juni. På lørdag kommer Jon Hardang, sjefen for Bedehuskanalen, Nathan Osnes, misjonær i Filippinene, Bjørg og Inga Åkerlund, også de fra Filippinene, Mathias Sæter og Elisabeth Bjorvann, et ungt par som satser alt på Jesus. Og så kommer Livi, kjent fra The Voice. Hun skal synge for oss, Tone.
Det blir kjempegøy, rett og slett. Ingen Facebook Live i kveld med Päivi. Vi har fått vertmån i hele kveld, så vi tenker det holder.
Det må være bra. Da gjenstår det bare for oss å si tusen takk for i kveld. Takk til deg som støtter oss her i Kristen Media Norge. Det er bare sånn vi kan gjøre dette. Gud velsigne deg.